Okay, good morning everybody. This is Mukherjee, working as Associate Professor in St. Peter's Engineering College, Physics. Today our topic of discussion is photoelectric effect. So let us see the photoelectric effect, how this photoelectric effect or what are the properties of some qualitative treatment of photoelectric effect. So let us see this photoelectric effect. What do you mean by photoelectric effect? Photoelectric effect, which says that photons are going to produce electricity. Now what is a photon? Earlier the classical mechanics says that energy is released in the form of, or energy is continuous. The classical mechanics says that energy is released in the form of waves and is continuous. But quantum mechanics says that energy is discrete. It is released in the form of packets, discrete packets. And each packet is going to constitute of energy, photons of energy. So that photoelectric effect. So we are going to study this photoelectric effect. Photons producing the electricity. So let us see the diagrammatic representation of the photoelectric effect. So this is what the photoelectric effect diagram is. Here in this photoelectric effect, what is the basic thing? The photons, yani the intensity. This intensity is coming and falling on this plate, which is a metallic plate, and this metallic plate will absorb this radiation. After absorbing the radiation, what is happening? This will be producing the electrons, and these electrons will be moving to this plate, will be collected here, and this will be measured in a galvanometer. And galvanometer will give us the readings of the voltage depending upon the conditions. So what is the photoelectric effect once again? Photons producing electricity. A photon's energy, in the sense radiation, sun radiation, that is called as sun. The sun is going to produce the electricity. And this is dependent on four basic quantities. It is dependent on what are the four basic quantities. What are they? First is, what is the first thing? The first one is the intensity. The first one is the intensity of the radiation. That's the first one. The intensity of the radiation. So it is dependent on the intensity of the radiation. Second, the frequency of the radiation. And what is the third one? What is the third one? The third one is different kind of alkali metals. Basically, alkali, earlier it was alkali, now different materials, different elements. And what is the fourth one? The stopping potential. So basically, it depends on fundamental three quantities. What are they? The fundamental three quantities on which it is dependent are the intensity of the radiation, the frequency of radiation, and the alkali, or the different materials we are going to use. So let us study some of the fundamental properties of this photoelectric effect, which is nothing but we are going to go for only a qualitative. We are going to go for a qualitative analysis. So generally what is happening? The electrons, they are coming and falling on this. When the electrons are coming and falling on this, what is happening? It is absorbing energy. And that energy is given to the electron because it is a metal. It gives energy to these metals, the electrons, and these electrons will be released out. And when they release out, what is happening? They will be collected by the other plate and they will be measured in the galvanometer. So now the graphical representation is this. This is current, this is voltage. So we are also applying some voltage. So even the fourth factor is also dependent on the voltage what we are going to apply. We are applying also the voltage. So now what is happening? We are applying some voltage. When the voltage is applied, what is happening? The current gradually get increased But this current is not increasing because of the voltage, but this current is increasing because of the radiation that is coming and falling on this. And this radiation is making the electrons to shoot out, and these electrons are going and hitting the other plate, and this plate is connected to the galvanometer where we exactly get the current that is following on this. So now what is happening? After some period of time, what is happening? The current will become stable, and this value we call it as saturation current. After that, even you increase any amount of voltage, here you increase any amount of voltage, there is no increase in the current, and we call this as a VSAT, saturation current, we call it as ISAT. So this is the saturation current. So what is happening? The radiation is coming and falling on this plate, it is removing the electrons, and these electrons will be moving to the other plate, connected to a galvanometer, and a beautiful current is produced, or demonstrated, or measured at least. So this is what we call it as a ISAT. This is the first case. Now, what is the we'll be doing is, because it is the ISAT, now we try to decrease the voltage. Still the radiation is coming and falling on this. Still the radiation is coming and falling on this. Now let us try to decrease the voltage. When you decrease the voltage, what is happening? Let us see here. So this is the saturation point. So the saturation point, what is happening? The voltage is coming and voltage is coming and voltage is coming. Even when there is no voltage, now the voltage supply is 0 now. Here on the y-axis, what is the value of voltage? On y-axis the voltage is always 0. Still there is some current here. Still there is some current here. Even when there is no voltage, even exactly at this point, there is still some current. So what should we do? Now we are applying, we will apply the voltage in the reverse voltage. When you apply the voltage in reverse voltage, what is happening? This is coming in exactly at this point, V naught or Vs. Exactly at minus Vs, the current is becoming 0. We call it as stopping potential. So here, what is happening? The radiation is coming in, falling on this metal plate, and the electrons are released, which is measured by a galvanometer. We get this graph, the first one. But now the procedure is same as the experiment is still going on. Now we try to reduce the voltage. When you try to reduce the voltage, what is happening? The voltage is getting decreased, but when the voltage is 0, now there is no voltage. The voltage is not there. The radiation is coming and falling on the metal plate. When it is falling on the metal plate, there is no voltage, but still there is finite amount of current. So what is the we'll be doing now? We try to apply the voltage in a reverse axis. So we are applying the voltage in reverse direction. When you apply the voltage in reverse direction, what is happening? Exactly at minus Vs, the current is becoming 0. So now we are trying to reduce. We are making the electrons to come to rest now. We are making the electrons to come to rest. How are we making to do it? We are applying the voltage in a reverse axis. When we apply the voltage in a reverse axis, what is happening? The voltage is coming down to 0 now. We call this as a stopping potential. This is graph number 1. This is graph number 2. It is dependent on what? Frequencies. The frequency of the intensity of the as well as frequency of the radiation. So let us see the different frequencies. Let us see how the frequency is going to be. So here this is the frequency. When we draw a graph between the frequency of the radiation that is coming and falling on the plate as well as the voltage, 0 frequency, there is no voltage. Now we are trying to increase the frequency. When we are trying to increase the frequency of this radiation, still there is no voltage. Still there is no voltage. So now what is that we will be doing? We will be making sure that we are going to increase some frequency at some particular point of frequency. It's a fundamental point of frequency. What is happening? There is a sudden rise in current, sudden rise in voltage, and this voltage is getting and increasing now. So this point F0 at which the voltage start increased, or the frequency which is required to, or the minimum frequency required to generate the photoelectrons. What is it we call it as? The minimum frequency to generate the photoelectrons, in the sense the electrons generated by the photons falling on the metal plate. We require a minimum frequency, and that minimum frequency we call it as threshold frequency. We call it as a threshold frequency. So threshold frequency, what is threshold frequency? A minimum frequency which is required to make the electrons to move from metal plate A to plate B. From, let us call it as plate A to plate B. The minimum frequency which is required by the electrons to move from plate A to plate B, we call it as the threshold frequency. And what is the other one? Different type of alkali metals. We are going to take sodium, potassium and whatnot. We are going to take different kind of alkali metals. So these alkali metals, the frequency versus voltage will be in this way now. Different alkali metals, like you got M1, M2, M3 and M4 voltage with respect to frequency. Different alkali metals will have different threshold frequencies, which is not same actually. Why? Because of their atomic configurations and atomic numbers and the electronic configuration systems. So this is how exactly the conditions of the photoelectric effect is studied. So what is the photoelectric effect? The electrons are released from a metal when this is exposed to the radiation. And these electrons will be measured by the galvanometer, where they move from plate A to plate B. When the intensity of radiation is falling on plate A, then the electrons will move from plate A to plate B. This collects the electrons and they will measure with the galvanometer, and we will be getting the current, the voltage depending upon the intensity of the radiation. So this is dependent on this kind of situation where the photons are beautifully producing the electricity. We call it as photoelectric effect. Once again, one of the other principles where we are using one of the principles or fundamental principles of what? The quantum mechanics. We are also using the fundamental principles of the quantum mechanics. But actually it was decided, it was like quantum, not classical, but later on the quantum treatment made us to understand this very comfortably in a very beautiful manner. Because the packets are coming and these packets are coming and hitting this. So what is the total energy is given by? The total energy, what is that? The total energy is given by EV plus half m naught v square. The total energy we are giving is in the form of, one is in the form of the voltage that is given to the electrons, and the electrons are moving from plate A to plate B. When they are moving, they will be having some kinetic energy, because now the electron is a particle which is having a response of m naught moving with the velocity v. Therefore the kinetic energy is given by half not v square, and therefore this is given by half m naught v square equals to, this can be written as EV equals to the potential energy, EV equals to capital E minus half m naught v square, or V equals to 1 by E times into E minus 1 by 2 m naught v square, and we call this as a stopping potential. So the stopping potential is represented by this equation, which exactly gives us, after the experiment is started, if you want to make the electrons to come to rest, we need to apply the voltage in the reverse axis. When we apply the voltage in the reverse axis, then exactly at one particular point the current will become zero now. This is the beauty of the photoelectric effect. Right? So we have two different types of effects. Actually, we call it as Compton effect and photoelectric effect. So what is happening now? What can we understand from this quantum mechanically? Like we have collisions. Everybody knows about collisions. Collisions is a particle will be moving, another particle will be moving, or a mass object, another mass object, or M1 mass, M2 mass, they will be coming and they will be colliding. When they collide, what happens? We have two different types of collisions: elastic collisions, inelastic collisions. After that, they will be moving in different directions. This is what we know it. So this is the property of a particle. This is what we know it. But here what is happening? The wave is coming and hitting this electron. So wave is coming and hitting the electron, and the electrons are coming out. And how it is? It is something similar to the electron and wave interaction is happening here, which could not be explained classical mechanics. Classical mechanics could not explain the property in a different way, but in a comfortable way. But quantum mechanics tried to explain. How could it try to explain? Because we know the quantum principles, de Broglie wavelength. The de Broglie wavelength says that everything in the universe is a matter wave. Depending on the circumstances, it waves like a wave, or waves like a particle. So here what is happening? The waves, it's a wave. It is coming and hitting this metallic plate. When it is hitting the metallic plate, what is happening? The metals are interacting with the wave. So this wave is coming and it is trying to reduce its velocity. When it is coming and trying to reduce its velocity, it is coming and hitting the electron, which is a particle. So the wave is becoming a particle now. So this wave as a particle is hitting the electron, which is also a particle. So a collision is happening between them. And that collision is making the electrons to move in a different directions. Like you have two masses, M1 and M2, they are moving and colliding, and after they move in a different directions. So similarly here what is happening? The wave is coming, it's a wave actually. But this wave is coming, and when it is interacting with this electron, it is losing its wave property, it is becoming an electron particle, sorry, wave particle or a wave matter. When this is becoming a matter or when this is becoming a particle, so two particles are interacting and exchange of energy is happening, and this electron gains energy, it moves in a different direction. When it is moving in a different direction, this is collected by the another plate, and thereafter the whole story, the photoelectric effect. In contrary to this, we have a Compton effect. We also have a Compton effect. In that Compton effect, what is that we'll be having? We'll be having an electron at rest, and the radiation is coming and falling on this electron, and therefore what happens? We'll be having electron will be moving in a different direction, another new kind of radiation will be moving there. So this is also another example of the matter wave behavior. Of course, this quantum effect is out of the syllabus or out of the scope, but still these two effects are very comfortably considered as two contrary examples of the quantum principles, where a particle behave like a wave or a wave can also behave like a particle. So these are the two fundamental examples. So once again, just recap this quantum mechanics principle. When we recap the quantum mechanics principle, what are the failures of classical mechanics? The failures of classical mechanics are that the classical mechanics could not explain the ultraviolet catastrophe. It could not explain the energy distribution of a black body. Of course, we have Wien's displacement law, Rayleigh-Jeans law, and we have Stephen-Boltzmann law, but none of them could explain this energy distribution of a black body as well as the ultraviolet catastrophe comfortably. But Planck, who said that the energy is continuous, is released in the form of discrete packets, is comfortably taken into account, and this started explaining very comfortably at low temperatures, at high temperatures, black body radiation or ultraviolet catastrophe, any, and this Planck's law can also be modified into Wien's law, can also be modified into Rayleigh-Jeans law, can also be modified into Stephan's law. And taking a glimpse of this Planck's principles, de Broglie has said that everything in the universe is a matter wave now. Everything is a matter wave. Either it can be a matter or it can be a wave, depending upon the circumstances. It can be a matter or it can be a wave. And this circumstances conditions was taken into consideration, and thereafter we have these two experiments to prove whether whatever de Broglie said was correct or not. And the first experiment was G.P. Thomson experiment, the son of famous J.J. Thomson. And Thomson, who said that electron who gave the specific properties of electron, and specifically the particle properties of electron for that matter, and son, he said that electron behaves like a wave. So father said about the particle properties of electron, and son said about the wave properties of electron, and both of them received the Nobel Prize for the same electron. And this is the only of one kind which happened in the planet. There is only two persons, father and son, who received the Nobel Prize on this electron. But we have a problem with the G.P. Thomson. It couldn't accurately predict the wavelength of an electron wave, and therefore we have a Davison-Jemmer experiment. So Davison experiment comfortably gave us the wavelength of an electron in accordance with the theoretical calculated value. And thereafter we have this photoelectric effect, where photons of energy is coming and falling on a metal plate. Electrons are released, they will be falling on the metal plate, and this metal plate is connected to the voltage, and we are getting the current because of this intensity of the radiation. With this, thank you very much.